It's a new football season and the Kick-Off is live every single weekend with the Roundtable Debate Show on the Kick-Off YouTube channel. This weekend it's Manchester City versus Newcastle and we will be live from 7:30 Saturday night. We'll see you there. Well, we'll talk about Newcastle in that case because I don't know if I'm getting carried away. Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's 5-1 yesterday. We beat Dan's team quite comfortably, right? And no, but the thing is, there was a period in the middle of the game which I think Villa fans deserve acknowledgement for, because Villa actually were really good to start the game and it was end-to-end competitive. And when Newcastle went 2-1 up, I think Villa basically had the rest of that first half and looked really good. But in that second half, we just washed them. And we are going to do that a lot this season. We happened to do that at Spurs 6-1. At St. James's, we're going to wash teams. It's just whether or not we can compete on all fronts. But watching the game, watching my guy Isak, I like him. I like him. Team. Mate, Thierry Henry, watch out.
There we go.
No, but I said last season, look, the Henry thing was a bit tongue-in-cheek, but I did say last season, Erling Haaland, Harry Kane, then Isak. And now Harry Kane, we don't have to worry about him. So I think Isak could be the guy to lead Newcastle as a striker. The way he caressed that ball into the back of the net at one point under all sorts of pressure, he just caressed it. And then Tonali, our new Italian stallion, to coming in and having so much involvement in 4 of the 5 goals. Then Bonds as well, and Gordon having a razor-sharp game, looking like the player we thought we were buying. I'm just feeling like, I look at the defence. We had the equal best defence in the league last season to Man City. The midfield now, we've dropped Tonali in with Joe Linton and Bruno. And you could look at the strikers we've got in Wilson and Isak in terms of combined goals. We might, outside of Haaland, get, one of the best returns on our strike forces. We've got a really complete team. Can we?
Do what?
Can we challenge for the Premier League title?
Huh?
Oh, wow.
Can we challenge?
I thought you were going to say top 4.
No, I was going to say FA Cup.
Eddie Howe, since coming to Newcastle, got us from relegation to 11th within a few months. From 11th to 4th.
Yeah.
He's brought in a load of players. These young lads are getting better. Yeah. Can he take us? And by challenging, I don't mean winning. I mean, can he get us in the conversation for the title?
No.
Do what like an Arsenal did last season.
No.
Can that happen?
Just to be clear, no.
Why?
Tell me why.
So I like to contextualize, because Newcastle fans have definitely let me know their feelings. And they do communicate in their droves.
I didn't send them.
They're not a passive fan base. So
we're on Twitter. We're definitely on.
We're definitely on.
Yeah.
But I like Newcastle. I've liked them the whole season, and I feel like they're hard-working, hard to beat. The only thing I think is that you need a few more players to compete on all fronts. What I think will happen is you'll have a really strong start, and when the games pile up, there'll be a big drop-off, because it's just really, really difficult to be on all fronts and maintain the quality throughout the whole season. But you have amazing pieces to start with. I think Tonali, if he is as good as we saw today, is an incredible piece of business alongside Guimaraes. I feel like they won't have a deep enough squad. And I said this at the beginning, and then people were still upset. It just takes more than what we as fans think.
I genuinely think you can be right up there, because look at the progress in the first 2 seasons. So naturally, I think there'll be progress again. I think the Champions League, if Newcastle go deep, might become a hindrance.
That could be tricky.
I do think Newcastle at St James's Park, not any team in the world would really want to go there. I'm not just saying that because my team's been pumped yesterday, but I do think any team in Europe will not want to go to St James's Park. I think they're only squad depth-wise maybe one. Sure, I think they've got a lot of multifunctional players. I think they'd never centre back.
I think the issue is when I look at the Arsenals and other teams that are up there with Man United, the world-class players they've got higher level players than what we have.
Yeah.
But
you've got the team.
But we've got a good team and an overall level, and we might surprise a few. In terms of as the opposition, what did you make? It's funny to ask you, but what were the standout performances from a Villa fan's point of view?
Yeah, no.
I just think you're a great team. You're defensively very astute, very, very solid. That midfield 3. That's an unbelievable combination. Tonali, Guimaraes and Joe Linton. There's a bit of everything in that midfield. Gordon looks like he's going to be a different player this season. Isak, if he stays fit, is a 20-25 goal a season striker. I think Newcastle are very well set. Yeah. Livramento's come in now as well, so I think some games you might see Trippier playing at left back, Livramento at right back, really bombing on down that side. I think Newcastle are in a really good position.
I think that midfield 3 is what's given us a bit of... It's getting us a bit carried away.
That's a high-level signing.
Did you sign a left back? You didn't, did you?
No.
That's another space that you definitely need
But
somebody.
what they're saying is Livramento will go on that right, and then Trippier will fill
will
in
play
like he did with England.
I hear you, but
You can't build too quickly as well. You can't just buy 7-8 players because then that takes away from what's made you good in the first place.
no, but then you want a really good youth system where you got a couple of players.
They've got a couple coming through in Newcastle.
Who are these people?
So there's a guy
quality.
called Anderson. You don't want to get carried away by pre-season, but he looks very technically gifted. But the player I'm most excited about, the kid Miley, is when I watch him. I'm going to sound mental here, but I'm like, you could be world class one day. You literally look unbelievable for 17.
The tall kid that's not in the squad yet.
He's in the squad. He has this ability to he controls the game. Like, you know how Yaya Toure used to keep his body between players and just like, he just has this composure. You're looking at him at 17, you're thinking, how far can you go? Because right now, I think you could go all the way.
But the money's going to ruin it, because once you got a lot of money, it's hard to work on youth products when you can just buy it.
Have the
Buy
patience
anyone.
for it.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Not with Eddie Howe. Not with Eddie Howe. I think Eddie Howe will do a bit of both. But Newcastle can't spend massive money probably for another couple of years still. So creating a player from within their system. Elliot Anderson's a very good player as well. Looks like he's bulked up in the summer to me. I think Newcastle's squad's in a brilliant place.
Yeah,
Really
Eddie
good.
said we don't want to loan him out because we basically. I think he's like, I don't trust anyone with him. He's that good.
I thought he might start yesterday against Villa because he'd done well in pre-season, was involved in a lot of good in pre-season.
But the thing is, Eddie Howe still has to watch his back, as good as he is. He has to deliver, because the reality is, now that they're doing well and they're in the Champions League, don't think every other top manager is not looking at it as a possibility for their career.
Oh, they can't
and
wait
they're
for that
willing to
job.
go there. So
They're ahead of schedule though, aren't they? Like they're
way ahead of the schedule.
I don't get this, and I think
Eddie Howe's
actually
going nowhere.
within Newcastle fan base and within like all around your club, I think Eddie Howe is, he's safe as anything. He'd be one of the safest managers
So
in the
the
Premier
question
League.
for the table then is what would it take for Eddie Howe to be under pressure this season?
If they get knocked out of the group stages of the Champions League, don't win any of the domestic cups and find themselves outside the top 6, which is not crazy, by the way, just the sheer amount of games.
I get you.
You then start looking at it and feel like, we've given you the tools.
He's still the
You
manager.
haven't delivered.
I think top 6 should be minimum that he should be expected to get.
If you finish 7th, he's still the manager.
I agree.
Yeah, he's still the manager, but I would be disappointed, and it would be a backward step in terms of when you look at what we're capable of. You're like, well, you're not getting what you're capable of out of these. So it would be, we'll give you another season, but then the pressure's on.
Also understand
this season's very hit.
It's sometimes not even just about how good or bad he is. It's what managers are available. So if a good manager becomes available and is just hovering around, and he's like, we can kind of see how he will do great at Newcastle. He might find himself out of a job anyway. The football world is too cutthroat.
And it's like,
just like a top manager just sitting there being like, I'm being on Sky Sports being like, hey guys, doing punditry. People, he's in the shop window. And I feel like someone did.
Spurs did this. This is exactly what Spurs did. Pochettino went, bought in Jose because he was apparently guaranteed trophies, and the club's just gone backwards ever since.
You know what? That's what makes me frightened.
I think the Newcastle board are more switched on than people think, and they know what they've got with Eddie Howe. They'd be absolutely
This brings me on to this documentary, this Amazon documentary.
I watched it the other day.
Yeah, so I was hoping it would be more like the Arsenal doc where we see more of the players, and it was a little bit of a fluff piece for the board. The way Amanda Staveley throws her arms around the manager, she's like, I love you, I care about you all, and she just gives you a different feeling. It kind of works having a queen instead of a king who never turns up. Like, they are there week in, week out, pretty much watching the Newcastle team and involved. They're more involved than like the Arsenal board, it seems.
Whoa.
It's a, you know what? Like,
sorry, I just mean.
Don't think that's even true.
We have to be honest though. It's a passionate club, innit? Newcastle is like, and it's one of those places that players are gonna love to go because you can become a hero there. It's
true.
It's still, they're not spoiled yet. Because like they're not like Man City fans that just don't care about winning anything. They just move on.
I don't think there'll ever be that sort of Man City.
Oh,
the fans
it'll
there.
come.
No, the fans there are like they're
come,
second
bro.
to none.
No, I think that
will come.
I don't think that we will be like that. I think that they're not.
Sure?
We got a screw loose up there, mate.
When you
We're gonna be mental.
when you look consistently win,
you're gonna
I don't think that's happening
You're
anymore.
gonna change.
Because FFP now has specifically fucked Newcastle. Like, if that wasn't there, well, then we would be buying everyone and anyone right now, the same way the Saudi League are.
No, I'm talking about when you have, because you right now you just said you just want to win a cup, right? That's
Win a
going to
couple.
change.
Do you think that happened at Man United?
Absolutely. That's why sometimes we're just quiet. We've got this thing where it's like, impress us. We'll be watching games and it just like, you're thinking, what the hell's going on?
Yeah,
but
so-
now we've shifted a bit because we've been bad for so long. We go into games, we celebrate the Carabao Cup. you wouldn't think a Man United side before would have done that.
But by the way,
it's been that bad.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that there's a middle ground where, yeah, we'll be a bit more spoiled, but we're never going to get 10 titles in a row the way Man City did because the rules will be there to stop that.
But the
will never happen.
Point is, though,
look at him.
No, because when you actually are in the Champions League on a regular basis and you have a certain amount of fixed income over a long period of time, also when your players become more assets, like someone like Bruno could easily be gone for 150 million to Real Madrid, and you might have to let him go. But now you have an ability to hide some of your revenue and actually make bigger decisions. So also Chelsea are still doing this long contract thing, which just seems to be a loophole that they haven't been.
No. But we can still offer the contracts, but they don't class as they're not classed within
5
FFP.
years.
So the FFP is 5 years,
max.
but we can still give them 8-year contracts.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think Newcastle have a great opportunity. I'm actually excited by them in terms of coming to the big table, and I think they will remove Spurs as a permanent member of the top 6. Very, if not already. I think
it's done.
I like how Newcastle are moving, and my worry was that we're going to try and do Alano, Joe, and Robinho signings, and they haven't. They've done really good signings, and I'm excited by.
Do you know what though? I think they would have wanted to do that. From what I heard from people in the know, they wanted to go and get like a Mo Salah. They wanted to go wild, but they just couldn't. So people giving what I'm trying to say is let's not give the board too much credit. They've done what they could. They had no choice. They could not go out and get Neymar. They had to get Bonds.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think if they could have gotten Neymar in them, they probably would have done.
I think not now, though. I think maybe you're right when they first came in, but I think they've kind of fell on a strategy that's worked and a manager that's worked. Because let's not forget, Eddie Howe was not the first choice.
Absolutely.
The manager either. So they kind of wanted to go in a completely different direction, but they've landed on something that's working. And I think they'd be crazy to rip that up now.